check?
Now somebody's telling me to wear the AirPods.
Somebody's saying no echo, Karan.
Echo. I'm only reading echo.
Somebody's saying it's fine. No, it's not.
Okay. Should we just continue then and hope people can hear us? But there is echo.
Is it just, can you all check if you're
It's fine from both ends now.
it's
Tanvi
audible.
Parora has
Someone
said
is saying
it's fine
it's fine,
from her.
no echo.
And someone has just abused me and said there's no echo. But chalo, okay. I'm used to that. All right. So, Kareena, back to your feelings of insecurity and how you felt. So, were there moments where there were lots of breakdowns, Len? There were like breakdowns. Did you feel like a little emotionally battered in moments as well? You found yourself weak and crying and like lost in this process?
Yeah, I think so, because this, like I said, the second time when I delivered Jay was in February. I was worried that I was going into a hospital.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going to happen in, the OT? Is it going to be okay? Because you were hearing so many stories constantly, in COVID times, and it was the peak of COVID. Just that worry of even carrying him out for the first time out of the hospital, it was just overwhelming to know that, is it okay? I mean, we can be masked, he can't be masked. Is everything going to be fine? So I think it was all of that combination, and a lot of issues that we forget is that after delivery, everyone's focused on the child, everyone's focused on the baby. But I feel that the most important person is the mother. We need to she needs the most support. Which I think people, tend to forget, whether it's friends or family. They're just excited in looking at the baby and, wow, amazing. But no one's looking at us. So I think that is something that fathers and families shouldn't forget.
Now, you basically also, Kareena, not just because, you're in the business of entertainment, but you also took the guidance of Rujuta, your dietitian, as well as Namrata Purohit, with the exercise routine. Would you advise women to actually go down the process of actually bringing on a dietitian, a nutritionist, as well as someone who can actually make you a pregnancy exercise regime? Like, you, of course, had two very strong pillars by your side in Rujuta and Namrata Purohit.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this to all women to go down, like having a routine so that you can actually...
If you have access to it, I think it's amazing, because even if you don't have, for mothers who can't, working mothers, or you don't have time and, you're working and still pregnant, I think just even the idea of being active, an idea of taking a walk for 30 minutes a day, it can change your mood, it can change the way you feel.
Right.
It's not just about maintaining the weight. It's also about, just staying fit and healthy, and of course, Rujuta has always been somebody who has, always spoken about the fact of eating healthy, eating local, eating organic. She's always been like that.
Right.
So following her has always been it's a part of my life. It's just something that I enjoy doing, and I think mothers, should just continue enjoying their life, and, of course, cravings and all that happens. But, I mean, as long as you can be fit, try to be as much as you can, I think that it really, really helps.
What about pregnancy blues, Kareena? How did you address those days where there were downer days? There were those what we call quintessentially as pregnancy blues. How did you address those days? Was it also family support, love and care, or just distance from everyone? How did you address it?
It's not like it's just pregnancy blues in the first. I think they're there. They last the entire year. It's not like now every day is like amazing. Even now, I mean, there are days of fear. So, that's just the way I feel, But I try to push myself. I'm the kind of person that, likes to get out of the situation and take that challenge. That's just the way, I am as a person, as everybody knows. So even if I'm down, or even if I'm feeling like, I'm tired or I can't do this anymore, I obviously think of, happier things. I think of happier times. I think of, Jay sleeping. I look at him and I'm like, okay, everything is worth it. Everything will be worth it.
Right.
And, I mean, I still do that. And I miss him, like, sometimes now when I go to work also. Even now, mothers have constant guilt. It's just a guilt syndrome that all mothers will, they just have it, They constantly feel that even if you're at work, oh my God, I'm missing out on that one moment. I want to be there for everything. I just want to say that, if you're not happy, your child can't be happy. So
Yes,
that we shouldn't,
absolutely.
there should never be any guilt about that.
Well said about that. Well said. What was interesting for me that you used some homegrown remedies for like spotting. You used toothpaste. It was, of course, a homegrown remedy. Was that Babita auntie's little trick to you, or is it something that you learnt on the way?
I think it was actually my grandmother's. In the book, like when you read the book, there are a lot of things that actually my Dadi ji used to keep saying. Ki
Right.
ye karna chahiye, wo karna chahiye. And that's what I think everyone has followed over the generations in the family also.
Right.
Like whether it was making the laddu so that, if you
As
have
they call them the grandmother's tricks.
Yeah, grandmother's trick, the gond ke laddus that, or khao. So, obviously breastfeeding becomes easier.
Right.
So a lot of modern mothers are like, no, no, don't. But these old wives' tales, as they say, and the grandmother hacks, I think they completely work. And I followed it by the book as to what she said.
Breastfeeding. There's a constant conjecture that surrounds breastfeeding. How many months do you breastfeed? What if you can't breastfeed? What is the guilt attached to not breastfeeding? And I know that one of your final comments in the book is that it's okay for technical reasons, emotional reasons, medical reasons. If you can't breastfeed, you can't take that guilt on. What would you like to tell women about all these speculations and traumas that surround breastfeeding?
The idea is, of course, that because there is so much societal pressure that,
Yes.
this is the way it has to be done, or, this is what it is. I just feel that each mother, there's no crown for wearing the best mother in the world. Every mother is the best mother in the world. The fact that you've given birth to another human being and you've had the ability and the capability of doing that, then you're the best mother in the world. There's no formula that, okay, you have to breastfeed for a certain time. Of course, 6 months is what they say is ideal.
Right.
To go up to, almost a year and a half. I mean, if you get that kind of milk, it would be amazing.
Right.
But some mothers and some women, due to hormonal reasons, it could be anything, thyroid, it could be, mental state of mind, they don't get enough milk. Sometimes if you have to do an emergency cesarean and, a C-section, it takes time for the milk to come. Because when you're in a normal delivery, they say it comes faster. That's what they say. But when you operate, it takes time. So mothers have to have the patience to see that through. So I just feel that, just do the best you can. What works for each woman at that point in time.
Each mother has a separate circumstance. And I think whether it's professional, personal, medical, emotional, it has to be addressed accordingly. And what I love is that no one is giving you an award. There should not be guilt attached to it because it's your personal circumstance.
And it doesn't make you love your child less. But of course, I feel if you're getting milk and if you can and you have the time, you have the ability to do it, I think it's the best feeling in the world because it actually gives you that feeling of bonding with your child and watching your child. It's a mother-child moment. But, there are millions around the world, who can't do it. And, like today, I mean, families opt for surrogacy, families, different kind of situations, circumstances, that you're in one. You have your 2 lovely children, but it doesn't make you love your child any less.
In fact, I just feel, I used to have this guilt as a parent that I hadn't done any of the emotional and physical heavy lifting. And does that make me a lesser of a parent? And eventually I realized that the love that you can surround your children by is really what parenting is all about. Love, understanding, and compassion is what you need to give your children. I'm a single parent, and I didn't go through those processes that all women have had to go through. And yet I had the 2 beautiful Bonnie babies by my side. So I do get what you're saying, that it's so individual, everyone's decision where it comes to pregnancy.
Absolutely.
Kareena, mental health is such a discussion of relevance, importance, and sensitivity. And discussing it is really something that we have to do with utmost sensitivity and compassion. postpartum depression is something that many, many women have gone through and not been able to comprehend, understand. There are, of course, metabolical changes, there are hormonal changes, and that results sometimes in postpartum depression. Did you individually go through that phase? And if yes, how did you deal with it? And if not, what would your advice be?
I think sometimes mothers, even while they're in their last trimester, experience a lot of anxiety and depression because, you're about to deliver the baby. You're getting prepared for a new arrival into your life. How are you going to react? So it starts, I think, in the last trimester. A lot of us go through that. And post, like I said, it can last 6 months, it can last a year.
Correct.
And, like I said, sometimes even now I feel overwhelmed, I think that, okay, I've gone through 2 pregnancies, I have 2 children. Like, how is it going to be? Even though I know it's the most normal thing. My sister, I've seen my sister, I've seen it, but I know, but still, it's just a thought sometimes that, kind of scares you that, how is this journey going to be? And am I going to be good at it, or is everything going to be okay? But like I said, friends and my family, and I constantly keep surrounding myself with people. And, I just being positive. You know me, I'm very, very positive.
Yes,
and very
always optimistic, positive, and always looking at the bright side of things.
Exactly. So that's the only way to, kind of be
Tackle
and surround yourself with people like that.
The other thing that there is always myths that surround, and women feel the guilt when they have to opt for a C-section, a cesarean, as opposed to a normal delivery. There are always things told to you by old grandmother tales, like we are saying again, where you say that, going through the beats of actually having a normal delivery is what really satiates a mother. It's when you really feel attached to your child. But again, there are medical circumstances. Again, there are issues that crop up. And you've had 2 cesareans, 2 C-sections. And I know that the very first one you weren't happy with, but it was medically advised you to go down that path. Your book speaks about the cesarean trauma that you went through. Now, what would you tell women when they actually are confronted with this cesarean situation and they actually bear that guilt that am I not going to feel that umbilical cord connection if I don't have a normal delivery?
Again, I think it's this societal pressure and this taboo that, okay, this is the way it is, you can't have a cesarean. Of course, everyone wants to go through a normal delivery. No woman wants to, cut 35 layers into her body and do it. I think that, sometimes circumstances, there are situations that take place for that, but I don't see the guilt, about it. There can never be guilt. The idea is that however it is, my child comes into my arms, and when that minute they, give you your child in your arms, I think everything
vanished.
And in fact, it's just the idea is that every mother should in fact have a choice to opt for however they want, however they're comfortable with.
Right. Exactly.
Not just, of course, sometimes they have to do an emergency cesarean like we had to do in the first one, for my first one.
With them.
So I think sometimes, even now, I think the mother should be given the choice as to how she wants and how she feels.
The other thing your book very bravely, and I say brave only because of the environment sometimes we're surrounded by, where they talk about sex as a taboo topic, pregnancy and sex and your regular sex life is always addressed, and it's like many women, like it's off limits for so many women in the 9-month drain that they go through, the 9-month duration of their pregnancy. You yourself spoke about how you lost your sex drive, and your husband was very understanding through those days. Now, what is it, the notions that surround a sex life during a woman's pregnancy, and then what does a woman feel herself? Can you expand on that and express to everyone watching today?
I think that, again, people just feel like, okay, if when you're pregnant, they don't realize the kind of, like you said, moods, emotions, feelings, what you actually feel about yourself. That's so important.
Right.
Some days I would feel super amazing and sexy and feel like, oh my God, I'm looking so, hot with this belly, and I feel amazing. And I would tell Seth that I'm feeling really amazing, or he would say, you're looking beautiful. But there were times like in, post like 6, 7 months where I felt like of course I was exhausted and I couldn't get myself, to like get up sometimes in the morning. But sometimes you're just like, it's just a feeling of repulsion, you're just like in a mental state where you just, don't know what to think.
Right.
And it's so, like I said, it's so important to have a supportive man. And most men should not put pressure on their wives to A, look beautiful while they're pregnant, B, feel they're any less than, like when they're not pregnant. That pressure shouldn't be there. Or the fact that, this is it and our regular sex life has to be completely like super active. It has to be according to the way what the woman feels and what she's feeling at that minute. And if your husband doesn't understand that, then how can he be the father of your child? How can he probably not? I mean, he has to love you in every form, aspect, every way. So I just feel that, it's a topic that probably, I've written in the book because most women feel scared to talk about it.
Yes.
They don't, or embarrassed to address it.
Here's what really, really impressed me about the book is that I think for the first time, in a very long time, I've read autobiographies that have been brave. I had people, talk about their lives in their memoirs. But I think it's very critical. It's very critical for men and women to read your pregnancy Bible because it really takes you through a journey. And it's a very inclusive journey. And that's what I loved most about it because I felt like it gave me as a reader, a viewer, into your pregnancy durations for both your babies. It talked about your highs, your lows, your mid-levels of emotion. It talked about your fears, your insecurities, and your happiness and joy as well. There's a lot of joy in the book. There's so much joy, but there's also those deep, dark areas that women go through. And from what I understand, Kareena, what you're basically the crux of what you've told us so beautifully is that it's so individualistic. And every decision has to be yours because you are the master and mistress of that decision. Whether it comes to your breastfeeding, it comes to your personal sex life, it comes to your decision to opt for a cesarean or not, whether it's advised or not by the doctor, it's your own. Whether you choose to be active, you choose to be inactive, you can only say like, yes, you recommend a dietitian, yes, you recommend a trainer. But if you can't, for various reasons, not have those by your side, then you have to do what's best for yourself. And what my last question really in this stuff is like, how do you block all the noises? Because everybody has advice to give when it comes to pregnancy. It's your family, your friends, everybody will tell you how to handle this or handle that, do this, do that, go there, go there. How do you block that noise and do your own thing? How does Kareena Kapoor Khan do that?
I think that, I am the kind of person that anyway, I think, I listen to everybody and I take it out from the other ear.
Suno sabki karo aap.
That is the way I live my life. I've done that even when everyone was like, oh my God, why are you doing this? Why are you getting married? Or why are you doing this? Why are you like, oh my God, now she's going to have another baby, then another baby. And you know me, I just hear everybody and I'm just like, okay, this is it. I want to do what I want to do. And I think every woman, pregnant or not pregnant, should think in this way. Of course, it's a pregnancy Bible, but I also believe that even post-delivery, every woman should just be the way she wants to be, guilt-free. Breastfeeding, like you addressed, going to work, which even I go through. I think it should just be fearless, because that's the way I am and I've lived my life.
And I'm sorry I said that was the last question, but I'm intrigued about one piece of advice that I'd like you to give to women in your fraternity, in your entertainment industry. Myths that tell you that, pregnancy, being married, you've broken all those shackles. You're a massive movie star today. At age 40, you own your career. You own your life. You're a movie star. You have 2 children. You have a satiated personal life and an absolutely fantastic professional existence. You're shooting some of the biggest movies in the business as you speak, mother of 2. How would you like to talk to the women in your industry and say that please do not conform to these myths that say marriage is the end of the road, pregnancy is the end of the road, having children means you won't get certain kinds of roles? Just talk about how there's a plethora of entertainment work that's coming to so many solid actors and they shouldn't be pressurized by these so-called myths that surround us.
I think that, when I got married about 10 years ago, almost a decade ago, at that time everyone was like, career's over, career khatam ho jayega, kuch nahi milega, ye, wo, and the typical things. But I think, you being a filmmaker, cinema is changing today.
Yeah.
Actors, today the best of actresses are married, whether it's Deepika Padukone or Vidya Balan. I think everybody, and I think they all have, followed suit, followed their heart, and are, flying. And filmmakers are, being brave enough to make films the way, whether it's Shakun and you making a film with Deepika, whether a film like Sherni today being made, or Amir Khan casting me in Lal Singh Chadda. I think that it's very, very brave of filmmakers to be giving us married women.
I don't even call it bravery, Kareena. I just think solid actors need to constantly work and do solid roles. Whether they are married, pregnant, mothers, how should that matter?
I'm happy that
at all.
A mainstream filmmaker like you is thinking like that, because that's just the way it is. Otherwise, please, we can't even call it cinema then. I'm happy that this is where we are today.
Well, I'm going to end with 3 very quick rapid-fire questions, because how can we not be on the hot seat with you? But very simple, family, pregnancy.
But no hamper. There's no hamper this time.
Well, the hamper's all the love you're getting in all the comments. I can see it's the abundant love. Very quickly, and I'm going to say it's a bit of it's not a good choice to give any mother, but a romantic date with Saif by the mountains with a glass of wine, or a play date with your 2 children. What is your big preference after a hard day's work?
Oh God, what is my preference after a hard day's work? Oh, guilty, not guilty. It's a tough one, Karan, because I'm very selfish and I love my time with Saif. And if I don't get my time with Saif, I won't be good to the babies, because then I'll be like, I want to be. So I think a half an hour with Saif and then 1.5 hours with the babies.
Okay, fantastic. I love that. Also, whose advice do you listen to much more, your mother's or your sister's?
Well, I think, my sister is, we're like, we're actually
She's
like
your
one.
pillar.
So,
she's your big, strong pillar.
It's not possible. I can't think beyond her.
All right. Okay, fantastic. One thing that during your pregnancy you loved about Saif, and one thing you did not like about him.
Oh God, I loved everything about the time with Saif, because we were in a lockdown and I got him completely to myself.
Yeah.
And which was amazing, because we got a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And and I hated then when, like, if he had to travel and go away and I would be alone, and there would be like times that I would just feel a little lost. And I didn't even want to go out and meet family or friends, and I would be just lying in bed alone. And I would think about him. So I would hate it that he wouldn't be there, and then sometimes I would fight with him. So I regret that.
And what was your guilty pleasure during your 2 pregnancies, or were there different guilty pleasures?
Guilty pleasure, I think it was all over Instagram, and it's pepperoni pizza. I'm obsessed. You know that I'm obsessed with pizza.
All right. So pizza was the guilty pleasure during your pregnancy.
It still is a guilty pleasure.
Well, Kareena Kapoor Khan, I am so proud of you. The Kareena Kapoor Khan's Pregnancy Bible, the ultimate manual for moms to be, I believe it is, by Juggernaut Books, written with Aditi Shah Bhimjiani. I really think that hats off to Juggernaut Books, to Chiki Sarkar, for actually even coming out with this fantastic idea to tell this story through you and your experiences. And I think every woman, every man, and I don't make this about women, because I think men need to read about pregnancy much more than women do.
Much more.
Their level of compassion really has to be at an all-time high where it comes to their wives, their spouses, their girlfriends, their partners' pregnancy. So, I salute you. And I think everyone out there, the brave Kareena Kapoor Khan, who has actually broken myths, broken shackles, emerged victorious, maintains her superstar status, and yet has maintained a solid role as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife. Kareena Kapoor Khan, it was an absolute pleasure to do this Insta Live with you. We actually have so many questions. I wish we could take just 1 or 2 very quickly from the audience. Guys, you have a question. This is your last chance. We're going to actually ask you just take. I'm only getting lots of love coming your way, Bebo. Just love,
Yes.
hearts, emojis.
Yeah, they're all.
Bebo, you look so cute. I mean, you're not cute. You're gorgeous. Okay. Anyone has a question? Anyone in the house who has a question to ask Kareena Kapoor? Oh, somebody just said Shersha will be a blockbuster. I love that. Oh, skin. Somebody's asked you for skincare tips. Do you have any skincare tips?
Skincare tips. Well, I think my mom has wonderful skin, so I'm quite like, I think I'm born after her.
Qureshi S wants to know about skincare tips.
Skincare tips. I drink lots of water. I drink 3 liters of water a day. Yeah, lots of yoga and almond oil.
Almond oil. Okay, fantastic. How do you stay positive is the last question. It has come from Rashi Das World is the handle. Rashi wants to know, how do you stay positive?
I think that, I derive positivity from surrounding myself with a lot of positive people around me and not focus on the trolls, not focus on negative people. Like, I just shut my door. They don't exist for me. And I think that makes me really happy. So, yeah, I'm around happy people.
And sorry, the last question from Shikha Smother is like, how do you deal with weight gain post-pregnancy, which also happens? Did that happen to you?
Of course. Yes. I mean, I put on 26 kgs and I'm still on my way to getting fit. But yeah, I mean, I think I go back, you try to take out at least 40 minutes 4 times a week and squeeze in a little bit of a nice workout and don't push yourself too hard. I think that is key. And give it some time because, if it takes 9 months to make a baby and, stretch the body, it will also take 9 months to 1 year to get back. So easy on yourself.
All right. Fantastic, Bebo. Thank you so much. And I beseech everyone, I'm going to say this again, make this yet another flash for the Kareena Kapoor Pregnancy Bible, Kareena Kapoor Khan's Pregnancy Bible, Juggernaut Books. Well done, Chiki Sarkar, and thank you to the team, and also to your co-writer, Aditi Shah Bhimjiani,
yes,
who actually helped
being the voice of reason and the voice behind this book. Aditi was actually the voice behind the book, and she's, a heartfelt thank you to her for actually, putting this whole thing together for us.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, Jagannath. And most importantly, thank you, Kareena. Thank you so much
to
all
Karan,
the thousands of fans.
And
I love you too. And we will now chat on the phone right after this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karan.
Bye-bye. Take care.